Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home, and today we're going to sow our tomato seeds. So I hope you join us. In my last video, I went over with you my decision-making process on which tomato seeds I'm going to be growing this year and where actually I'm going to place them, which was a big part of the decision-making process. So here's what we came up with. We've got 11 cherry tomato plants, 10 sauce tomato plants, and 11 slicing tomato plants. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I sow my tomato seeds. So let's begin. The first thing is start with a good potting mix. Now I've done a video and I've gone over in a couple of other videos as well how I make my own potting mix, and I will link that video for you at the end. But I've already made it up. So these are the cell trays that I am going to start them in. I know they look dirty, but I did bleach them. They just, well, it's as clean as I could get them. And these are relatively small. I would say about 1.25 inches by 2 inches. In the past, I've started them in much larger, deeper trays, which worked great. I didn't have to pot them up as often, but I'm running out of space. So, and because I'm doing 31 plants, and of course I want to start more than that because not all of them are going to make it, although I would like them to. I'm going to have to start more than that. So I'm going to have to pot up probably twice before it's time to plant them out sometime in May. So I'm going to start with filling these trays up. And I give them a little gentle nudge down to make sure that they're packed in. You don't want them so tight that their little roots aren't going to be able to move about, but you want them firm enough so that when you take them out of the trays, they don't fall apart and their root system is pretty much kept intact. As you press down, you realize that there's extra air in there. And then just fill it up gently with some more soil. And once we wet this, it's going to compact down a little bit further, so it won't be to the exact top. So now I'm going to give the potting mix a good soaking because it really wasn't very wet. And while that's soaking, I'm going to fill out my little tags. For writing my tags, I just cut up yogurt and sour cream and cottage cheese containers, and I use those as place markers not only in the cell trays but also outside. And you know, a lot of people don't like to put plastic in their garden. I've used popsicle sticks in the past. I'll tell you, not only do they degrade very, very quickly and you can't read what's on them after just like a month or two, they do break down into the soil, which I guess is good. But these are easy enough when you're cleaning up the garden to just go around and pick up, wash them off, and then throw them in the recycling. So that's what I do. So I'm putting a couple of things onto these labels that are a little bit different than what I would do for, you know, plants that don't have so many different types of classifications than the tomatoes do. So what I'm putting is the name of the variety, whether it is an indeterminate or a determinate, which, like I explained to you in my last video, indeterminate means it grows really, really tall. It needs a lot of support. They're killed off by the frost, but they'll keep on going before then. And then determinants are the ones that get to a set height and then put all their fruits on at the same time, and you gather them up at the same time. And I have cherry tomatoes here, I have paste tomatoes here, and I have slicers. And not all of them, not all of the cherries are patio size, and not all of the sauce tomatoes are determinate size. So I'm putting that on the tag as well. And then I'm putting whether it's a sauce, a cherry, or a slicer, and the date, which is March 15th. Beware the Ides of March. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. And since I have the list here, I just want to make sure that I'm getting all of them. Okay, all done. Here I've got my sauce tomatoes. These are my cherry tomatoes, and these are my slicers. And over here, the cells are nice and drenched and heavy. And I've got my mat to keep my table clean, and my coconut core, which I'm going to use to cover up the seeds. Okay, so with tomatoes, the planting depth is 1/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do, and this is how I sow things that really don't require too much soil on top, not a very deep planting hole, is I just sprinkle the coconut core on top when I finish placing the seeds. So we're going to start with our Jersey Breeze tomato. This is one of the slicers. So I want to plant 2 plants of this. So I'm going to start 2 cells, and I'm going to put 2 to 3 seeds in each cell. Just space them apart a little bit. Close this back up with a paper clip because the sticky stuff on the back. Sorry about that. That was my Friday evening liquor store delivery. Anyway, what I was saying was I always put a paper clip back over it so this doesn't spill. I've had problems in the past. Once you open these envelopes, they don't stick again. And we've got our Jersey Breeze here. It's a very light amount of soil over the top. All right, let's do our black creme. Now I apparently bought 2 different packets from 2 different companies. I don't know. I'm just going to open one. Let's go with the, oh, I know. Let's go with Botanical Interests. This is Kevin Espiritu's company from Epic Gardening Channel. Let's try his out. I like the amount of information that they have on the back of the packet. It's quite extensive, which is nice. Sometimes you get a packet of seeds and there's no information except the name of it. It's very frustrating when that happens. Okay. This is not so easy to open. Oh, there's another packet inside. Okay, now I need, there we go. And again, I'm only doing 2 or 3 per cell. I've overseeded in the past and made myself crazy because I have a hard time of thinning seeds. In other words, that's when you, wait a minute, where'd the seed go? This is hard to see. Oh, it stuck to my finger, that's why. Anyway, one year I really overseeded, not knowing how things were going to germinate, and tomatoes in particular, I've had pretty good luck with germination, but because I overseeded, I had all of these babies and I didn't have the heart to thin them. So I ended up potting up a whole bunch of seedlings, and then that took up an enormous amount of space, and I gave them away because I didn't need so many. So now I'm not going to go crazy overseeding these. So just a little dusting on top. Okay, that's better. Now we're going to do Kellogg's breakfast. And how many of these am I doing? I'm only doing 1, okay. And by that I mean not 1 seed I'm sowing, I mean 1 cell, because I want to get 1 plant. So because I'm only doing 1 cell, I'm going to do 4 seeds in here. And I'm just pressing them down to make sure that they have contact with the soil. Okay, I'm going to fill up all these trays. I'm not going to make you watch me do them all. I think you get the idea, and when I'm done with this step, I'll come back and show you the finale. Okay, that actually didn't really take very long. Happy Friday. I have a mixture of the sauce tomatoes and the slicer tomatoes here. And then here I have the cherry tomatoes, and I decided to throw in a bunch of extras for my mother and a couple of friends that might be interested, because I know my mom absolutely loves cherry tomatoes like I do. So I figured I'd grow her some as well. So here's the next step. First, safely remove the seed packets so they don't get wet, because we're going to give them a really good spritz. And really activate those seeds. Like I say, I like to wake them up. Oh, I didn't use this one. I didn't need to, so I'll just use it for something else. Well, this is odd. I don't have a tag here. I don't have any extra tags. I probably just forgot to put anything in there. Oh well. Alrighty. Okay, so the next thing we do is we put them under a humidity dome. Now, instead of a dome that would fit over the cells. I just use a recycled baggie, and it works very well for me. I haven't bought new ones in years, probably. Anyway, just put them in like that. Zip them up. And it really works well to keep that humidity in. And you can see how wet these are. They're dripping. So they'll be nice and moist for a while. Of course, though, once they start sprouting, you really want to get them out of the plastic bag, because otherwise they're going to develop root rot and dampen off and die. That's when the roots just get very, very thin, and it's just immediate, almost immediately they'll just die off. So it's important to take them out. However, if you take them out too early, you have to make sure that you mist them frequently. If you take them out and only a few of them have sprouted, you've still got a lot of life waiting to come up underneath the soil. So if you don't keep those damp, as if they were underneath the humidity dome, then too dry, they're not going to sprout. So I like to wait until about maybe 25% of them have sprouted, and then you have some kind of sign that the rest of them are kind of bubbling their way up onto the top of the soil. Even if they haven't shot their little heads up yet, sometimes you can see a little layer of what looks like fungus. It's not fungus, it's I don't know, mycelium or something like that, but it's a precursor to a sprout. Sometimes you see that the earth has kind of, made a little volcano-looking thing. Anyway, then you know that the signs of life are there. But if you do end up taking off the humidity dome too soon, just make sure you keep them damp. All right, and then this tray is going to go on the heating mat. And I have this heating mat on top of a baker's cooling rack because this is a wooden table and I don't want it to get ruined. Well, that's about it. See, that's not so hard, is it? It is trial and error, but once you get the hang of things, it's actually pretty simple to sow seeds. And then, of course, later on, as we get to see them sprout and they become seedlings and we need to get into the seedling care of tomatoes, I'll bring you along for that as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And I'd like to invite you to subscribe and join our growing community. And from the Ladies Garden and Home, on behalf of Lady and Fluffer and the special cameo appearance by Layla today, she thought I didn't notice, but I did. Enjoy your gardening journey. Bye. Say goodbye, guys. Come on, say goodbye. Oh, good girl. Lady says goodbye.